Okay, maybe I understand your question. So maybe Anish, what I will do, it will be a bit tricky to explain from here. Maybe I will take an extra slide here to explain it. Huh? Just give me a minute. Okay, so Anish has a question. Let me repeat the question. So Anish's question is that initially we have a depletion layer here when the gate voltage was below threshold voltage, right? Then, and we have seen that as we are increasing the gate voltage below threshold voltage, we have seen the depletion region was expanding, is width is expanding. As a result, this CGCB, this gate to body capacitance, that was actually falling. That I think you have understood. Now the point is when we have crossed the threshold voltage, means Vg has crossed the threshold voltage, then the channel will form, right? But his question was, then what is the effect of the depletion layer that has earlier formed? Okay, to explain that, let us take one additional slide here. This N plus, this N plus, this is P silicon. This is gate, this is source, this is drain, right? So his point is very right that initially we have a depletion layer, right? So I am denoting that depletion layer like this, right? Okay, now we are increasing this gate voltage. So there will be depletion layer will further increase. We are increasing it further, means it still not cross the threshold voltage. So depletion layer will get extended, right? But his point is what will happen? Okay, after that, suppose now we have crossed Vg is equal to the threshold voltage. Okay, just equal to threshold voltage. So the electron channel will be formed, and we are considering very low VDS. So we can consider the channel is almost uniform across the channel, right? So the channel is formed there. So how this earlier depletion layer, okay, before I say that, now if I further increase the gate voltage, what will happen to this depletion layer? Nothing, because this will be the maximum width of the depletion layer. Once the channel has formed, all the electric field from here will be terminated here. Nothing will come here. So the width of this depletion layer will be fixed, but it will not disappear. Now his question is how this depletion layer will play a role in the capacitance. Now see, this is a channel which is an N made by electron, and it is connected with this source as well as drain, right? So if we are not considering, what will be the now gate to body capacitance? Again, gate to body capacitance will be now 0 because it has been shielded by this. So this depletion layer, okay, maybe I will take another color here. This depletion layer will not play any role hereafter because this, you see that this channel is now connected with this already N plus, right? So you can think of this is that one path of the capacitor, and this is the another path of the capacitor, and the separation between these two is Tox, and it has connected one side with the source and the other side with the drain, right? So below that, what is there, it does not matter to us because now we have a fixed connection between this other channel, means other path of the capacitor. You can think of this electron as another plate of a capacitor. So this another plate, and it is already connected with that. So below that, what is happened, that really does not matter. Anish, is this clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the electron, that is like a plate, which is like, so
Yeah,
there is,
obviously,
so there is
that is a
actually
plate.
no connection between the gate and the body at this moment.
No.
Yes, sir. Got it.
right? And that is why when I have said, right, now if you are changing this drain voltage, then what will happen? This electron will try to electron concentration will be becoming lower and lower on this side, right? So that way you can think of that this here you will have a decrease, like this will be now detached. Are you getting my point? This will be detached. So the entire this capacitance will be now shifted towards this gate to source side. Anish, clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, so when it is detached, so for the detached portion, will there be a depletion capacitance?
In this region, depletion capacitance? No.
Sir, like
No.
when you detached, there is a
Uh-huh.
portion which
Right.
which is
So you
going
can think,
directly from
okay,
gate
you
to
can
source.
think you again it like this. Suppose now you have a one plate here, okay, and the another plate is here, okay, and the another plate is here, okay. So all the electric field, okay, yes. If I say like there will be nothing in this side, then I would be wrong. It will be there, but that contribution will be almost negligible compared to the contribution of these two plates. Anish, can we move on?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh.
So in the N plus region, won't there
Who
be
is
a
this? Acha, Febin. हाँ, Febin, bolo.
so in the N plus region there would be a electrode channel, right? So won't that shield the depletion region in that part?
Sorry, Febin. In N plus region.
The electron channel will be present in that region too, right?
No. Which side you are saying? Please try to. There are two N plus regions: source side, drain side. Which region?
Yeah, I'm talking about both.
Both. Okay. Let us say source side. Fine.
Okay, yeah, like there will be an extension of that electron channel inside the N plus region, right?
Extension of what?
Yeah, like there won't be a depletion region near to the electron channel, right?
There will be no, I think I am not getting your question. There will be no depletion region.
I mean, there won't be any depletion region near to the electron channel.
Near to the electron channel. I think I am not getting. Febin, can you please rephrase your question?
Uh, yeah, so the depletion region will be present
Oh, you were saying
near to
here,
the
maybe slight thin depletion region here.
yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
here it might be. That's what, but this portion comes under, you remember this portion, and this portion comes under this overlap capacitance, na?
Yeah, so if electron channel is present near to that, then
Yeah.
the charges
Yeah, okay.
should
You are thinking from that. I think now I understood your question. Okay. Then see, suppose some depletion layer is here. Okay. Suppose this is the depletion. Okay. Maybe which you will take this color yellow. Maybe suppose this is the depletion layer. Okay. Here. But so what? This electron is there. Now that electron have a path from, it does, electron can go from here, right? It does not like electron has to come always here, because the total thing is been now doped, right? Doped very heavily, right?
so
So
if
the electron,
you
huh?
concentrate such large amounts of charge, then the depletion region should be somewhat big, right?
Yeah. No. Which depletion region will be somewhat big?
The one you
No,
just
Febin.
draw.
No, Febin, please. This one, please, I try to understand here. This doping is very, very high compared to this, right? So suppose this, okay, let me give you an example. Suppose this is 10 to the power 17, then this is 10 to the power 20. So this is 10 to 10,000 times. So if the width here is suppose width here is 100 or say suppose 10 micrometer. So just as so if it is 10 micrometer here, then the depletion layer width will be here 10 micrometer divided by 1000. Right. So you can estimate what will be the thickness of depletion layer in this side, if there is any. But this depletion layer here in source side, it will not be any depletion layer because you are now applying here get positive voltage here. So the electrons will be now closer to this. So there will be accumulation. So there will be no depletion here. But yeah, you can make probably some comment on the drain side, not in the source side.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I hope that you have understood this part, and I think you also understood this point that there are actually practically so many capacitances attached with a practical MOSFET, and those capacitances, some of the capacitances are actually not linear. They are actually varying, right, with the gate voltage and drain voltage, and it would be quite tough for hand calculation or manual calculation to take or incorporate all those changes, okay, in our analysis. So we'll try to take the major changes, incorporate in our hand calculation, and many cases we will do quite a bit of simplification so that we can finish it in the due time, as well as with some simplicity without losing focus from what we are trying to implement or trying to understand, right? Okay, so one more capacity. Okay, so then just want to have a recap before we proceed to the next one. So we have seen the presence of overlap capacitance. Then we have seen the channel capacitance, three parts of the channel capacitance and how they are varying with gate voltage, drain voltage. And to simplify that, we have made this table, which basically says in which region of operation, which transistor will be operating in which mode, right? Along with that, there is one more capacitance, which is called the junction capacitance, right? So now we are going to discuss that junction capacitance part here, but I think for that, maybe I need to move this thing a bit below so that I can write here the junction capacitance. Okay, so we are now trying to discuss this junction capacitance. Okay, so this is again a type of 3D view of MOSFET. Couple of times we have discussed it. No need to further explain it again. But now we are saying it is a junction capacitance. So where junction means it is basically the PN junction. So you can see if it is an N-channel MOSFET, the substrate is of P type, and the source and drain region is doped with N plus region. So that this N plus, and between this N plus and P, there will be again some depletion layer, and if there is some depletion layer, there will be a depletion capacitance, right? So then it is not difficult to understand that depletion layer, depletion capacitance will be present here for both source and drain side. But good thing is that source is bit grounded, and if you say that the body is also grounded, then source and body, so here it will be on the equilibrium, though some capacitance will be there, right? But here, see in this side, drain, when you are applying some positive bias in this drain for N-channel MOSFET, so you are making this PN junction reverse bias. So you are expanding the depletion layer more in this P side because it is lightly doped, and the depletion capacitance from this drain side is also dependent now on the application of VDS, right? So remember that this is again a voltage dependent capacitance. So the things are become more and more difficult if you like when you try to incorporate all those capacitances in your analysis. So again, just this part of this part of this MOSFET is being again redrawn here for our analysis. So here you can see this is gate, this is the width, right? This is the length of diffusion, length of this drain terminal. So it is LD. Doping concentration is ND, and this is the P silicon, which is NA, right? So if I have to then say like what is the capacitance that is being offered by this, suppose at when VD equal to 0, right? In that case, so then probably we can make a type of 3D view of this, right? Then you can say there will be one capacitance due to this bottom plate, right? You are I think you are with me, right? This bottom plate, right? there will be one plate, right? So this is between this N plus region and between this P side. So this will give you one depletion layer, so one depletion capacitance in this side. Fine, okay. So maybe I will write it first, otherwise you will forget it later. So we are now writing it as C bottom. Right. So how we can find this C bottom? If the junction capacitance is Cj, then Cj is again dependent on the voltage that has been applied here, right, into the area. Again, Cj is the per unit area capacitance, right? So Cj is capacitance per area. Fine. Okay. Now, then you might ask, like, why we are not considering this side? Maybe I will take now this color. Why we are not considering this side? Why we are not considering this side? Why we are not considering this side? Yes, we will consider that. But maybe some of you will also say, why we are not considering this side? Right. Okay, but unfortunately, no, we should not consider this side because this capacitance is already been included as a part of this gate to channel capacitance for long channel MOSFET. For short channel, it will be a different case. We are not going to those complications now at this moment. But for short channel case, for long channel case, this part means this capacitance, the capacitance between these two isn't incorporated as an or taken care by this part, this gate to body or gate to channel capacitance, right? So we should take care of these three highlighted side regions. But now then can we not say that this three sidewall capacitance will be also similar way Cj into this LD and this thickness, this depth? Yeah, we can do that, and we will follow the exact same thing. But one technical thing we should know here. So suppose this is Xj. Xj is the junction depth. So when you make this region, N plus region, okay, this has been first implantation and then annealing or drive-in, so that this will be the thickness of this PN junction, right? Means the depth of this PN junction, I should say the depth of this PN junction is this one. This is Xj. This is again technology parameter. You cannot change it, not in your hand. So here, then the area would be this one. So in LD of Xj, this region also same Xj into LD. This region, it will be W into Xj. So you can easily find it out. But here, the point you should note is that the concentration of P region, which is seen by the bottom part, whatever we have written, this C plus bottom, that is this part. That is, there the doping concentration is Na, the doping concentration of the substrate. But to avoid making the channel between this N plus region, suppose there is one MOSFET and beside that you have another MOSFET, to stop any channel or crosstalk between these two, what generally we do, we implant these side regions. Okay, all these three side regions, we implant one heavy dose of P plus region, right? So that way the side capacitances, we cannot use Cj because here the doping concentration on this side would be now Na, suppose plus, okay, some heavy doping. So then the capacitance will not be Cj on the sides. So to incorporate that, we can write this C side wall will be equal to this C side wall dash maybe, or C side wall, whatever you want to write, then Xj, right, for this three side, then W gives for this side, right, plus this 2 of LD, right, 2 of LD is this one and this one, right? So here yeah, I think that's all for this C side wall, right? So again, this side wall capacitance is also capacitance per area unit, right? So this is about the junction capacitance present between this N plus and P plus for N plus and P plus for N channel MOSFET, and the similar thing you can also consider for P channel MOSFET where you have P plus and N silicon, right? So in that case, and as this is due to the diffusion part, so sometime in some book they will also write it as a C diffusion, okay, and they just add up these two. So if you just add these two up, then it becomes this plus, you know, C CSW dash into XJ W plus 2LD. Again, this XJ is in technology parameter. This is also in technology parameter. So that way you can combine these two and just write CJWLD plus, here it is CJSW into W plus 2L W plus 2LD. Maybe I need to rewrite it. Here it's tough to write at the side. So here we will denote it as this JSW W plus 2LD, right? So but here, you know, we have already multiplied these two with this, so it is now the capacitance per length. Remember that, right? This is now capacitance per length. This one is capacitance per area, but we are now multiplying with only length, so it's capacitance per length, right? So this is all about junction capacitance, and some places you will also find the term this diffusion capacitance, so which denotes basically the same thing, the PN junction capacitance. And so far these are typically the capacitances present in a MOSFET. Now let us see then the overall picture. Like now we have seen till now the discrete things, right? Discrete like individually what will be the capacitance between gate to source, gate to drain, then gate to body, then this drain to body, source to body, all these things. But what is the complete picture then? Okay. To see the complete picture, this MOSFET channel, MOSFET capacitance model, we can see that. So here, let us first draw this MOSFET. This is gate, this is source, this is drain. So let us pick some other color. So we have seen there will be one capacitance present between gate to source. So we will write it as CGS. We have seen there will be a capacitance between gate to drain. This we will write it as CGD. We will also see that there will be capacitance between gate to body. So we are now writing it as CGB. And this is that body terminal, right? And there will be also the one capacitance between the source to body. This source to body, there will be another capacitance between this drain to body, right? And now if we have to write write actually what are these values, then probably we can also do that. So to simplify that, so this, what is this CGS? So CGS capacitance is basically the C gate to source capacitance, the channel contribution part, right? Gate to channel capacitance, the contribution of the source part, right? You understand, right? We have seen it here. This part, this part, this part, right? Okay. Then plus the overlap capacitance between gate and source. So CGS naught. Then CGD, here too we can do C gate to channel means gate to drain due to the channel contribution plus the CGD naught say or GDO, the to say that it is an overlap capacitance, gate drain overlap capacitance, right? What is CGB? CGB is nothing but only due to the contribution of the channel part, so it is CGCB, right? We have already discussed about CGCB. What is this C of SB? What is C of SB? C of SB is nothing but the CS, that diffusion part. Just now we have discussed source side diffusion capacitance part, which includes the bottom part and 3 side walls, right? What is this CDB? CDB is CD diffusion, which also includes the bottom part and 3 side wall parts, right? Okay. Now there are, you have seen that, so many capacitances in this. Now let us see in terms of, we are discussing some inverters. So in terms of inverter, how that this thing will play and role. So suppose we are considering one inverter is driving another inverter, right? One inverter driving another inverter, right? So for that, obviously the load, means the capacitance, that if you see from this side, the capacitance of the input, if you see from this input side of the second inverter, then the first inverter is loaded by the input capacitance of the second inverter. That is obviously one part, right? And if you look from here, then you should be able to estimate using our previous this so far our whatever we have discussed, what is the capacitance from this side. So let us do step by step. Let us try to find what is the input capacitance of a simple this CMOS inverter. Okay, so let us draw it first. Okay, now you tell me where from these capacitances will come. See here, these capacitances, right? If you look from like, okay, now if you look from here, right, then you have to see the capacitance of this PMOS. At the same time, you have to see the capacitance of NMOS, right? Because both is been, I mean, both capacitors will be loading here, right? Both capacitors will be loading here. This is the C input capacitance. If you're just looking from this way, right? Then how you'll estimate it? Okay, and okay, one more thing is that what do you think about the value of these capacitances? Obviously, if you are driving this, if you're looking from here and driving this gate and driving this, in this PMOS or NMOS from this gate terminal, and if you are looking to the gate terminal, so obviously the gate capacitance would be the concern, right? Gate to channel capacitance, right? Now we have also seen that the gate to channel capacitance can vary, right? It can vary from this like Cox W into L to this 2/3 of Cox W into L, right? But we will consider the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario means when the capacitance is maximum, right? That would be the worst case scenario, right? Because you might have, if the capacitance in this side is slightly lower than that, then that is not an issue. But while designing something, we should always see what is the worst case that we may encounter. The worst case from this gate capacitance point of view will occur when the gate to channel capacitance would be equal to this Cox W into L, right? That you can find from this N channel, that the same thing you can also find for the P channel, right? Okay. Now, other than that, this, what are the capacitance that you might see here? See, for the input side, see here, this is gate, this is drain. So between gate and drain, there will be one overlap capacitance, right? So there will be one overlap capacitance between these two. Similarly, between this gate and source, there will be one overlap capacitance, right? Similarly, for N channel, you can also say there will be one overlap capacitance that will be there, that you need to take care of, right? So that way, if you just simply add up all these capacitances, then we will get what is the CG, total input capacitance. So total input capacitance, if we write it as CG, then we can write it as CGCN for N channel, gate to channel, total capacitance we are writing for this N channel, plus CGCP, it is the gate to channel capacitance for this P channel MOSFET, plus 2 C0 Wn. I hope that you understood that C0 is the overlap capacitance, and we have multiplied this XD, make this C0, which is a technology parameter. And now this capacitance is only dependent on this Wn, or the width of this N channel MOSFET. So it is one Y2 this side and this side, source and drain, plus 2 C0 WP, right? Because we are assuming the symmetrical situation. So here C0, or the overlap capacitance on both N side and P side, we are taking as equal. So here, this one we can write Cox WNL, this one we can write Cox WPL, plus this one we can write this C0. Okay, we will let us keep it like this only, Cn plus 2 Cox WP, right? If you just do bit simplification, you will get this Cox into L plus this 2 C0 into Wn plus WP. So this will be the input capacitance if you look from this side, due to the presence of the second inverter. So if you know the details of this second inverter MOSFET, for example, the width of this NMOS, width of the PMOS, C0 value or length, Cox, then you should be able to find the value of CG, right? Okay. But is it the only load that the previous inverter will see, or there will be some other load as well? There might be one more load, and which is quite practical, that is a load due to the wiring, right? What do I mean by wiring? When you have to connect one inverter to the next inverter, then there will be either a metal line or a polysilicon line, due to which there might be another capacitance. So you will have another capacitance which are in parallel with this C in, right? So you can have another capacitance here. Okay, but is this all, or there might be some other capacitance as well? The answer is there will be some capacitance because of the first inverter as well. That means there will be some capacitance which will be coming from the first inverter, and that will be loading this inverter only. So to make it simplify, what can I say is that the first inverter will have some capacitance, okay, at its output, and the origin of this capacitance is nothing, is not the this wiring capacitance, or not the input capacitance from the next stage, but it is only due to this inverter only. So all inverter will be always loading itself first. This is called the C self, or self capacitance, also sometimes called in many self capacitance. So we need to find in the next page how we can find what would be the value of this self capacitance for this this type of inverter. So I think we have some time. Yeah. Self capacitance, right? So for that, again, let us try to draw this inverter again. VDD, this is ground, this is out, this is V in, right? Okay. Now you see here the things what okay, first let us draw some of the capacitance and then we'll see whether those capacitances are valuable for us or not. If they are not valuable, we'll try to ignore them. Fine. Okay. The first one is this. For this this capacitance is CGDP, means gate to drain capacitance for this P side. Gate to source capacitance P side. Gate to source capacitance N side, means N type channel, and I am not much spaces here, so you understand that, or maybe this is important, I should write it here. C, this is G, this is D, N, right? Because you remember this is the drain for this N channel, and this is the drain for this P channel, right? This is the source. This is the source, right? Okay. So what else other than that? Other than that, we have a body contact, right? So we have a body contact here, and with this body contact, right, with this body contact, we have seen there will be a, if we say like this is a body, then, and if you also say like this is the body contact for this. So between this body contact and source, there will be another capacitance which we have seen just right, so sometime back, right? This capacitance is due to what? This capacitance is due to the diffusion one, right? So it is we call it as C S CSBP, and one capacitance here which we call that CDBP, and take one capacitance. Similarly, we can write in CDBN, and here this is CSBN, source to body for this N channel, right? Okay. And general consideration is like, body is being shorted with the source, so that way you can say like body is connected with the source. So that way you see for this capacitance, this is ground, so this capacitance is not much important for us. Body source is connected, so body is connected with VDD, same potential. This capacitance not playing much role for our purpose, right? Okay. Then now we are okay, one more thing, we are considering the self capacitance. Self capacitance means the capacitance which are connected with the output node of this inverter. So output node means V out, with V out, right? Because we are trying to see how this capacitance or the presence of this capacitance is loading the output of this inverter only. So we need to see what are the capacitance that are connected with this V out. So here obviously you can see this capacitance should not be a concern, then because it is not connected with this V out, this capacitance again we can maybe ignore that, right? Okay. But here between these two capacitances, right, between this gate to drain and these capacitances, what are the things? Okay, maybe I will go to this one. See here, this we have written here. This is okay. Follow for this one. Okay, CGDN. This is CGDN. CGDN consists of what we have written here. CGD. Okay, CGDN would be for this N channel only. So CGD is equal to CGCD plus CGD naught. So this will be the contribution of, so we have to, the CGD means it is a contribution of CGCD plus CGD naught. So there will be one contribution from the gate to drain side, the channel gate to channel capacitance which will fall to the drain side. That contribution will also come. But here you think about it. If you are applying a step input, if you are applying here a step input, then either there will be two possibilities. Either one MOSFET is on or the MOSFET is off. Means one MOSFET is either in saturation or the MOSFET is in cutoff. So if you are operating here, then this MOSFET is, means if the voltage applied is this, then this is in the saturation. This is in the cutoff. If you are operating in here, the other situation will happen. That means you don't have the triode region or linear region for this step input. So either cutoff or saturation for both NMOS and PMOS. Now let us also see the table that we have written some time back. So you see the operating region, when the operating region is cut off, then we have to consider this CGCD, right? CGCD is 0. So we are quite fortunate. We don't, CGCD will not come into the picture when the device is operating in the cutoff. Similarly, you see for saturation, right? In saturation, the value of CGCD is also 0. So CGCD component will not be there for for N channel as well as P channel MOSFET. So what are we left with for this capacitance CGD? We are left with only the gate to drain overlap capacitance. You understand my point? So our analysis now has become quite simpler. So we can write it as like CGDN, which is basically this CGCN, GCDN plus this overlap capacitance. How we have denoted the overlap capacitance? CGD naught N. Okay, so CGD naught N, right? But now we have seen as step input NMOS or PMOS, either cutoff or saturation, right? And in cutoff and saturation, in both case, we have seen CGCDN is equal to 0. So in that case, we are, this is nothing but the CGD overlap capacitance, right? So this now we can find from the overlap capacitance. This also we can find from the overlap capacitance. This is not important. This is not important. We have already crossed, right? Now what is this this drain to body this capacitance? This is the diffusion capacitance, right? So this also you can find this diffusion capacitance. This also you can find for this N channel, right? But here one thing we have to notice is that this capacitance, this capacitance, they are type of floating in the sense they are been connected from these two terminal. neither means it is not like one terminal is connected with the ground, right? But probably we can do something with this so that our analysis would be bit easier. So what we can do, if we just see, the situation is something like this. So this is CGDN, right? And here we have this output, and here we have this input, right? So suppose input is changing from 0 to V, right? So at that point, the output will change from this V to 0, right? That means if the input changes plus V, then the output at this node will change by minus V. That means the change of voltage or potential across this capacitor is 2V. So if you now consider from the charge point of view that the charge is what the total charge that can be stored across this capacitor, or from this Miller effect, if you consider, then we can simply keep this capacitor, means remove this capacitor from this end and just hold it here, and just make this side capacitor ground. So and just multiply it by 2 times. That will not alter our result, right? Because now here you change this amount of V, like here the decrease will be V, but the change in the charge across this capacitor would be same, because earlier the voltage was 2 times change. Now we are making the capacitance value itself is 2 times. So this you can do using the Miller effect, right? Then probably we are now in a stage, maybe just another 1 or 2 minutes, just we are in a stage to add up all these things and try to see what is actually the self capacitance. And while writing, if we'll see that if you have forgotten something, we'll try to then do that, right? But here you remember that this part, right, CGDN or CGDP, as we are making this using this Miller effect, so we have to make it up 2 times so that we can connect it just between this output terminal and ground. So here probably we can write this self is equal to 2 C naught Wn plus 2 C naught Wp. So we are writing the overlap capacitance, which is nothing but these two capacitances, CGDN, because this CGDN is nothing but CGD naught overlap capacitance, right? Right, and yeah, but so you should notice that right here it is basically the overlap cap, okay, for NMOS. This is overlap cap for PMOS, right? And then we have these two things, like junction capacitance and this junction capacitance, right? So plus this junction capacitance of Wn plus this junction capacitance of this Wp, right? So yeah, this is I think more or less done. We are done. So it is C naught, then it is Wn Wp. If you just want to make it, write it Wn plus Cjp plus Wp. So it is the C self. Yeah, C self part. Right. So And mostly we will not actually calculate all this stuff even in some numerical analysis, but if you are interested you can do that, because for that there are these parameters, if it is not given and which bias you are finding, if they are like for example junction capacitance, they are dependent on the bias, right? And if those biases are not given, it will be tough for you to calculate this actual value of this. But from here, at least we have understood one part, is that when one inverter is suppose driving another inverter, then there will be one capacitance which is due to the input side of this the second stage inverter, right? There will be an one additional capacitance that might be there, and that will be always be there. And now that depends on the value, depending on the value of the CW or wiring capacitance, you can include it or maybe you can neglect it. But most importantly is that when you have this inverter, that inverter will also create one this inverter will also have an effect at its output node, in terms of like you can means okay, how to explain it? The probably way I explain is that this inverter will also load itself by one capacitor, which is called this C self, right? So even if you now think for only this part, right? So if you are suppose driving only this inverter, then also this C self will always be there. So that is the reason, if you now suppose only one inverter, and if you are changing the input, suppose in the input is a step, at the output you will still get some delay. Okay, if you are how to find delay from the midpoint to this midpoint, you can still find this delay. So this is due to the self loading. Yeah. So yeah, so sorry, I took a little bit more time today, but yeah, I more or less it is done. So we'll start from here next class, and try to see what is the implication of this self loading. Huh? Okay then, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.